Hey everyone, so today we've got a bit of a cold winter day today, December day, but I have a pile of food here and we're gonna see if the birds eat it all. I mean, well, they'll try to eat it all, they probably won't. My guess is though, we're gonna have some Brussels sprouts left over, but I have a feeling they're gonna eat everything else. So this is gonna be pretty fun for them. This is basically chicken Thanksgiving, or chicken, yeah, Thanksgiving, not Thanksgiving chicken, but they get to celebrate Thanksgiving a couple weeks after us, when all the stuff we don't eat and the food and everything kind of got to be getting rid of before it goes bad. But yeah, let's go let the ladies out and see what they think about all this. We are eager. They want to see what I have. Well, lucky for y'all, there's a lot of stuff here today. Careful, hey, chill. I gotta grab this carefully. I don't want to get my stuff all messed up here. So we have them ready right here. Yep, so here they are. Had to take a break to put my hands down and put the camera down so I could actually empty the pan appropriately and make sure it all made it to the ground for the birds. But obviously they're enjoying it all. The breaded stuff tends to go first. Have to watch and make sure they don't pick at each other, because everyone wants to have everything, even though there's plenty to share, because they're ridiculous. Or they'll wait for somebody else to pick off a big piece of something and then they'll go after that instead of what's there in the pile, which is so silly. But it's how they roll. But this is fun for them. They get to enjoy a big fat meal of table scraps from one of the bigger meals that we put together. So there's always something left over for them, and they're going to just be fat and happy. The other thing too is this is kind of a good time for them too, because as it gets colder, they don't really mind too much. You would think chickens wouldn't enjoy it, but they're actually okay during the winter for the most part. So whereas I'm not doing too well, I'm out here in hat and jacket and stuff, but they're actually doing fine. They actually enjoy this. So I figured I would just let y'all watch the chickens eat, because I know people like watching this type of stuff. And to no surprise, they're not really eating the Brussels sprouts that much. They can, and they probably will in the long run. But the problem is they just have so many other equivalent pieces of junk food effectively out here right now that they don't really have a need to. You've got all this other tasty stuff when you got mashed potatoes and green beans and everything else. Why are you going to eat the Brussels sprouts, right? So now they're doing the point where they're all kind of taking a piece and then stepping away so they can enjoy what they take away from the pile, not have to share. Kind of standard practice for these sort of things. They can probably break it up and make it easier on them, honestly. I was sort of seeing how they would react to stuff. So I'll get down here and I can actually break some of this off. I'll toss that over there and break some of that off, toss that over there. So now they don't have to pile up and they kind of eat spread out. And truthfully, we have enough birds and stuff around still that whatever they don't eat, I'm sure the birds are going to come pick at. Actual birds, being crows and ravens and grackles and whatever, they'll come eat some of what's left. Still see them around in the yard right now. And see, look at that. I moved all that stuff and then now they just go crowd around the other thing because a couple of them want it. Now they all have to have it. So that's just the way they go. But the good news is they're all happy and healthy. As you can see, we've got Carnage being more in the group instead of just running kind of on the edge of the group. She's kind of fully part of the pile. She holds her own now. I mean, you saw her just peck at Katsu there. But that was kind of the thing, right? When you introduce a new bird, it's like, can the bird hold their own? Will they end up just being on the bottom of the pecking order? Will they get abused by the other ones and not be welcome in? And she's kind of stood her ground and really kind of became part of the brood. So good for her. The downside is, still don't know where she came from. I have no idea. Just all we know is wherever she came from, she was, our guess is, not treated well by the humans or just neglected by the humans, because it's taken her a long while to even just walk comfortably by us. Whereas our ladies, they'll just walk right all under our feet and whatever. We have to be careful not to trip over them sometimes. So it's definitely different. But yeah, we have plans for these ladies for the next year. We want to try to build a equivalent of like a sand pit that's got a covering, so that way they can always have a dry-ish area to like take their dirt baths. So that's the thing we're working toward. Like I said, we want to fix up their chicken run so we can actually keep the ground from getting all messy and sloppy like it is now. A couple different things we're going to be working on. So hopefully we'll get that on the channel as well, kind of as that stuff comes together. We did get their water container all set up with their, I don't know what you call it, little heating element pad, whatever, under it. So I'll have that to show probably in a couple days. But yeah, they'll do this all day. Like they'll eat till their crop is full and then some. So we have no doubt that whenever we have leftovers, we don't have to worry about really throwing them out, because we can just feed the birds with them. So one of the best parts about having the chickens, stop it, is that will end up with a lot less waste. That's one of the real nice things, that anything we make, for the most part, again, if it's not nightshades or whatever, because you don't want to feed those to your chickens, but pretty much anything else, we can just give it to the birds and know that we don't have to throw it out. So we're not throwing stuff that's going to sit around in trash bags or in a landfill. We don't have to feel like our money's going to waste. And in the long run, it does save us some money on feeding the birds as well. So it makes it even cheaper. So, in the long run, really, our birds only cost us about not even $20 a month. Maybe somewhere around $15-ish every month when you consider like cost of food or supplies or whatever we have to buy for them. Treatments, I guess, when they get sick, but it's a pretty low cost considering when we're in peak season, we're probably getting like 3 dozen eggs sometimes a week out of 6 birds. So it is pretty wild when you think about it. And I say it's not always 3 dozen. I guess sometimes it's between 2 and 3. So we'll call it 2.5. But at the end of the month, where you're talking about, you've gotten 9 or 10 dozen eggs, even at a couple dollars a piece, like they're more than paying for themselves, considering what they cost us. And then you have the other thing, when we let them just run around the yard, they're eating bugs and doing their business and, kind of taking care of things. And they're low maintenance. I mean, you really don't do anything. You just kind of feed them, water them, check on them, make sure they're healthy, keep their space clean, dedicate. Hard maintenance, which I would call like cleaning out their coop. Like the other day, I had to set up some cinder blocks for their heated water stuff, that sort of thing. I mean, you're only dedicating like an hour a month, 2 hours a month, maybe, in hard maintenance as far as chickens are concerned. A lot of your stuff for chickens is initial setup. That's really the trick. Now they're kind of doing a thing. If you see them walking around, wiping their face on the grass, that's their way of that's their natural napkin, if you want to call it that. So they might get too much cheese or gravy or whatever on their face, so they're trying to keep it clean out of their nose or whatever, so they can just keep doing what they're doing. Is everybody else full? We're done. Y'all gonna walk it off and come back? Oh, now we're just running around and wiping our face on stuff. All right, let's go ahead and wrap things up. I think everybody's seen like the bulk of what the chickens are gonna do today. So yeah, as expected, they didn't eat the Brussels sprouts. They're as bad as kids. They want the junk food first, the corn, the bread, everything else, and then look at the healthy options. No surprise though. The best thing about it though, like I pointed out, is really not having to have as much food waste. That's one of the big problems around the world, but for sure here in the US. So if you can prepare meals or snacks or whatever, or even just go shopping and know that more of it is going to at least go used, that's a really good feeling. I would say since we have our chickens, we have very little food waste. Like I said, you can't feed them nightshades because that's bad for them. But outside of that, I mean, when we have spare noodles, vegetables, French fries, whatever, like they eat all that, so it's just a really good option to have. So something to consider whenever you get chickens is if you're really worried about recycling, kind of your environmental impact, that sort of thing, chickens and honestly to a large extent, pigs and goats and whatever, like they will eat a lot of things as well. So think about that when you get to, weighing your pros and cons of picking up an animal and deciding if you want to raise them or not. If you haven't, please remember to like this video, hit the subscribe button, hit that notification bell. That'll help us get in front of more people and slowly build this channel up so we can do some fun things. And that's all I have for you for now. We'll see you next time.